Welcome back to Thought Control, and here we have 10 scariest things which happen in space when astronauts stay there and make their life rough and difficult. Number 1 is fingernails fall off. The spacesuit gloves astronauts wear while working outside the station during spacewalks have proven to be hazardous to their health. A recent study found that about 10% of astronauts are victims of fingernail trauma from gloves, with a number of them losing a fingernail entirely because the glove pinched their fingers and reduced circulation. Weightless worries. Weightless living can have some pretty odd consequences without even going outside. In March 2007, astronaut Sunita Williams was trying to squeeze some of the spicy green condiment onto her makeshift space sushi when a squirt got loose, ultimately splattering the walls with wasabi and hiding spray droplets around the module. It took a while to get the wasabi smell out after it had flown all over the place, Williams said at the time, and she had to forego wasabi on future space meals, saying it was just too dangerous. Rough ride. While floating on the space station can be fun, getting to and from it can be a rough ride. Tripsun, the Russian Soyuz spacecraft in particular, reportedly packs quite a punch of G-forces. Space diet of baby food. Though it's not just Tang and freeze-dried ice cream these days, food in space still leaves something to be desired. Fresh fruit and vegetables are scarce, for example, and ground staples like bread are impractical because they leave crumbs which in microgravity fly around everywhere instead of settling on the floor and become a disaster to clean up. In the winter of 2004, however, an unmanned cargo ship due to deliver fresh food and supplies to the space station was delayed. The two ended up cutting their regular food consumption in half to conserve supplies, then making up for the lost calories by eating abundant desserts and candies. Cramped quarters. While the station has grown considerably over the 10 years it's been permanently inhabited, many spaces are still a tight squeeze, and for the last year and a half, the normal crew size aboard the orbiting lab has been 6, meaning what space there is has been shared by more bodies. Hygiene hiccups. The lack of showers in space often puts a serious damper on the experience. Microgravity makes it impossible to have a normal shower where water falls from a stream and falls docility into a drain. Instead, astronauts on the International Space Station use a squirt gun that shoots out water and a washcloth. They also have a special rinseless shampoo to keep their hair clean. Toilet troubles. One of the peskiest recurring problems on the station is the toilet situation. There are 2 toilets on the space station, one in the Russian segment and one in the United States modules. But both have been bulky, breaking and requiring on-orbit plumbing jobs to get them working again. Then there is the issue of what happens to the wastewater. As of May 2009, urine is recycled into clean drinking water and is also recycled into water for bathing and food preparation. Creaky bones. Astronauts have to deal with serious health consequences from their time in orbit. One of the most significant of these is the effect on their bones. A recent study found that astronauts' bone strength dips by at least 14% during a half-year stay in space. Other research indicates that an astronaut's bone mineral density can decrease by between 0.4% and 1.8% each month they are on the station, leading to greater risks of fractures and osteoporosis later in life. Losing your lunch. Acclimatizing to life in zero gravity, especially since no simulator can reproduce microgravity on the ground, takes time. It's not uncommon for astronauts to lose their lunch after liftoff before they even reach the space station. Spewing chunks in space creates rather more of a mess than it would on Earth, since projectile vomit doesn't project toward the ground. The loneliest number. Perhaps the hardest part of life in space is the feeling of isolation astronauts can get when they spend half a year removed from the whole planet, especially their friends and family. While astronauts can combat loneliness by bonding with crewmates and making frequent calls home, they sometimes have to miss major life events back on Earth. In December 2007, NASA astronaut Daniel Tani's mother died in a car accident while he was living on the space station. Tani had to grieve from more than 200 miles away in orbit until he came back to Earth about 2 months later. And in 2004, NASA astronaut Michael Fink was forced to miss the birth of his second child when his wife gave birth to daughter Tarali while he was serving a long-duration mission during the station's Expedition 9. He was able to meet his daughter 4 months later when he finally landed. Sounds amazing? Yes, our universe indeed is.